cut one. Hi, my name is Breeann, and I'm the head of marketing and communications for Royal Enfield North America. Sitting next to me, professional road racer and race team mechanic Melissa Paris.
Hi.
Hi. So recently we launched the BTR program Flat Track Edition, and we had such great traction on it that we decided to do a road racing portion of it. I've asked Melissa to go ahead and mentor the program this year. So Melissa, why don't you just talk about what the Build, Train, Race program is?
Well, like having just gone through it with the Flat Track program, as a participant, it's pretty cool, right? A bike shows up at your house in a crate. You build it into a race bike. We got to go see Johnny and get some training, and then we got to line up against each other and race. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to turn them into road race bikes, and I get to help these girls through the build process and help do some training, and then we get to set them loose and see who's fastest.
So for this initiative, we're going to use the all-new Continental GT 650 Twin. And the reason why we chose that motorcycle is because...
Well, it's got such awesome like retro road race stylings, and I think it's going to be a really good bike for someone who maybe is just wanting to get their feet wet and try road racing in a really cool environment. Get to learn about building something from the ground up and see what it can do.
So as a past participant in the Build, Train, Race program for the Flat Track, there's a lot of commitment involved. So moving forward, we know what we're looking for in terms of commitment. So why don't you touch on that subject a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to just look at the program and say like, oh, cool, I want to do that. I want to like go race. I want someone to give me a bike and go race. But participants are going to have to make a big commitment. It took a lot of time and resources to be able to build a bike, from a completely stock street bike into something that you can go racing. So it's going to mean sitting down and spending time coming up with a design and finding resources to execute it, whether that's parts or budget or even just know-how, because I didn't know how to build a flat track bike when I started this, and I expect that the girls that are going to participate in the road race version, they'll have never built a race bike before. So although they'll have me to help them along the way, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time and care and dedication to get the job done. And then once it's completed, we're going to have several training sessions, and there's going to be a couple races. So I really hope that the girls that apply are ready to like fully commit to this program, because it is a really fantastic opportunity, but we're going to be asking a lot out of them as well.
So some questions that we've already been receiving is, what is the type of support Royal Enfield offers, and what is the expectations from the girls for that? So we do provide a small budget, but outside of that, Melissa, it's up to the girls to do what?
I mean, in my case, the budget was super helpful, but I had a vision for something bigger, so that meant going out and approaching sponsors. So I had to build a sponsor deck, and I had to approach people and ask for support. And I'll be honest, in the end, I did have to spend a little bit of my own money to help get the job done.
So along that way, you realized that you wanted to go large, a bit larger in the build. You had, ideas of grandeur, and you kind of took it to the next level. Something that you're going to work with the females on this program is different types of options that they can take, whether they want to, reduce costs if they don't get the funding. So why don't you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I kind of have this vision where I'm going to help the girls find each of the areas of the bike that they're going to need to modify, because as we learned in the last program, not enough guidance could be a problem. So we're going to identify like the key things that have to be done to make this a race-worthy machine. And my plan is to offer them a couple different options of ways to execute it. I keep comparing it to like when you're a kid and you play like race car video games and you get a budget for upgrades, and it's like you can spend some on exhaust and you can spend some on suspension and some on paint, so you got to spend your money wisely. So I want to be able to give the participants a couple different ideas for what to do for suspension or wheels or bodywork or all the different items. So I don't want them to go into it feeling like they're completely like out in the wilderness alone. Like, I'm definitely gonna give them ideas and suggestions, and if they come up with their own ideas that they want to bounce off of me, and I'm so happy to help them execute it. But definitely we're gonna help them identify the things that definitely have to be done, and then help them find the ways to get it executed.
That's great. So we've heard from a lot of people how important is it for the women to be hands-on in the build process. So again, that's something that we've learned from the past program is it's okay to have mentors, such as you or someone else. It could be male or female, but how important is it for the women to actually do the work themselves?
This is something I'm really passionate about because when I first got into road racing, I was the definition of a damsel in distress. Like, I didn't know how to do anything, and I was completely reliant on the people around me. And at first, I noticed that a lot of people just want to do stuff for you because it's easier and faster for them. That's definitely not what we're doing here. I want these girls, I do want them to bring in people to help. I want to help. I want them to ask their friends or contacts that they know for help. But I want them to be elbow deep learning so that at the end of it, they have that confidence that if they were to go to the racetrack by themselves and something on their bike broke or needed troubleshooting or whatever, that they'd have the confidence that they could go after and, fix it or troubleshoot it or whatever they need to do. Like, this is about going racing, but this is also about creating capable racers who know their way around a motorcycle and know their way around a toolbox and can build something really cool.
And another important aspect to cover is being able to have the insight and the planning to be able to have spares. So that's another problem that we came up with. It's not a problem per se, I guess we could have done a different job in coaching the women, but is being able to have spares available if something happens during a training incident or a racing incident.
Yeah, I mean, with my race background, that's huge. You don't go to the racetrack without spares for things that we call them consumables, things that break when you tip over, and you do tip over when you're learning. So for sure, that's something I'm going to make sure that these girls are educated on and prepared for.
So we've launched this website where women can submit their videos and let us know why they want to be a part of the program. Can you touch on some of the questions that the women can prepare themselves to go through?
Yeah, so it is like a video process, and I know a lot of people have reached out to me because they're thinking, oh, I need to like edit together a beautiful video about everything I'm doing, and that's not what it is at all. It's actually like a series of questions you click through and you have an opportunity to answer each specific question. And they're really pretty basic. It's just about you. What do you do for a living? Like, where do you live? Where are you planning to build this bike? Why are you interested in it? And I don't know about you, but for me, I know what I'm looking for in the participants, and that's someone who's like been dying for this opportunity. I want someone who's like always dreamed of grading up to go race, or always dreamed of learning how to work on things. Like, not just someone who's like, oh, this is a great opportunity, but I want to hear about, like, man, I've always wanted to know how a motorcycle works, or I've always wanted to know what it feels like to drag me on a race bike on a paved racetrack. So when I watch the videos, like, I'm looking for that person that I remember in me when I first got into road racing.
Some questions that we're seeing on the social media forums is there an age limit, or is there a certain demographic background that we're looking for?
I mean, as far as age limit goes, like, I don't know, legally wise, if you have maybe a minimum age, but mainly what I'm looking for in background is someone who does not have any actual road race experience. Maybe they've raced another discipline. Maybe they've raced flat track. Maybe they've raced bicycles. Maybe they've raced, dirt bikes, anything like that. Or maybe they've never raced anything. They've just always wanted to. Obviously, some experience riding motorcycles. I know, like, maybe if someone's done a couple track days or something, that might be something we'd look at. But we want beginners, right?
Yeah, what we are looking to do is teach these women and guide them into building a proper race motorcycle, into training and being able to soak it in without any preconceived notions. So it's good to have someone that's fresh and from the start, correct?
Yeah, I wanna be able to document the journey of these girls that are like beginners, because the whole idea is to empower more people to do it along the way. I'm hoping people will watch these girls' stories and then realize that they can do it as well.
So the beginning of the program, we'll obviously announce winners on December 1st, and we'll hopefully ship bikes in December, towards the end of December. Can you explain like the phases on how you think this program is going to run from the build, the training, and the race portion?
Yeah, so first the girls are going to receive their bikes, which is, for me it was really exciting getting to uncrate a brand new motorcycle. Getting to uncrate a brand new motorcycle is always pretty pumped. I mean, I've been doing this forever and I still love it every time I get to do it. But then I'm going to work with each girl on the build. That's the first part, build the bike. So I'll be going out to each individual participant and helping guide them through the process, show them the things I've learned along the way. And I'm sure there's things going to come up that they're going to need help with that I don't know how to do, and I'm excited to help learn, and we're going to find it, and we're going to figure out how to do everything. So we'll spend most of the winter building these into race bikes. And then the next step is going to be training. So we're going to do some really cool training stuff, not just on our race bikes, but on some other machines as well, to get these girls comfortable and confident riding at a high level and racing with each other, and maybe doing a little bar banging, and then we'll move on to the big track and get them comfortable on a big road racing circuit.
And you've been doing this for years. You and your husband have been hosting people at your home, and even traveling to other places, and really teaching people how to be road racers. And that's just not, on the road race track. It's proper nutrition. It's, riding other disciplines, because there are things that you can carry over into the road race.
Absolutely. Like, road racing is such an interesting discipline of motorcycle racing, because it can be cost prohibitive. It's not like motocross racers that can go get on their motocross bike and train every day. A lot goes into going to ride on a road race circuit. So we do a ton of cross training, whether it's flat track or motocross or
Cycling, even.
Cycling, a ton of cycling. So I'm looking forward to showing these participants like all the things I've learned along the way that help me be prepared when I do have the opportunity to throw a leg over a real road race bike.
So we haven't announced where we're going to be racing yet, and the reason being is we still want to determine what's the best approach for these women.
Yeah.
We're having multiple conversations. We don't have any answers to give right now. Something that's Melissa and I will be developing over the winter, and hopefully during the build process we'll be able to announce that. But there will be racing. It will be more than one race. The training will be more than one time.
Yeah.
And we really want to develop this program into something more into the future. This year we are looking at bringing about 6 to 8 females onto it, and then continuously helping them after the inaugural year of the program has ended, but also bringing a new crop of riders each year after. So that's why it's really important to have a really solid group of women from the get-go,
Yeah.
and to show the success stories that we're hoping from it.
Yeah, I think like this first year is going to be great, because it's going to show people what a new rider can do, like what they're capable of, and hopefully inspire the next crop for the next couple years.
Yeah. Do you have any closing words or statements or quotes or wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I think I just really hope that when people are applying, that I'm looking for people that have that same feeling in their heart that I have. When I think about racing, I've been doing this for a long time now, and I'm still so pumped every time I get to ride a motorcycle. I still love racing so much. I still love turning wrenches on motorcycles so much. And I just want to see participants who are like so passionate and so excited for a chance to go racing. If you could have known me like in the months leading up to getting into road racing, it was consuming me. It was like a fire burning inside of me. And I'm just like really excited to meet 6 to 8 girls who have that same fire in them.
And hopefully they can continue doing what you've done in the process.
Exactly.
Yeah. So check out our website, royalenfieldna.com/build train race.